Welcome to the world of science fiction where extraordinary tales come to life. Enjoy the journey. Jace Vero's apartment smelled like stale protein bars and regret. The government notice on his screen glared at him. Jace woke to the sound of something sizzling. The air in his bedroom was thick, humid, like the aftermath of a summer storm. He kicked off the sheets, his skin slick with sweat. The source of the heat was immediately obvious. Lizara stood at the foot of his bed, her usually shimmering blue skin now a deep pulsing violet. Her bioluminescent tattoos glowed so intensely they cast flickering shadows on the walls. "You're burning up," Jace muttered, rubbing his eyes. Lizara didn't respond. Her golden eyes were half-lidded, her breathing uneven. The thin sheen of iridescent sweat coated her arms. When she finally spoke, her voice was strained. "My thermoregulation is compromised." Jace sat up, cautious. "Is this normal for your people?" Her fingers twitched. "Not like this." A sharp knock at the door made them both freeze. "Integration check," a mechanical voice announced. Lizara moved faster than Jace thought possible, gripping his wrist. Her touch was searing. "Do not let them in." "Why?" Her pupils dilated, something he hadn't seen before. "They will take me." The knocking turned into pounding. "Citizen Vero, open for compliance scan." Jace hesitated. The government had made it clear, resisting inspections meant relocation. But the way Lizara's grip tightened around his wrist, the way her breath hitched, something was wrong. He yanked open the closet. "Get in." She didn't argue. The moment the closet door shut, Jace opened the front door to two black-clad enforcers, their faces obscured by mirrored visors. "Where is your assigned liaison?" the taller one demanded. "Bathroom," Jace lied. "Stomach issues. Alien food, you know." The enforcer's helmet tilted. "We will verify." Jace blocked their path. "She's indisposed. You really want to barge in on a Veltheri with digestive problems." A pause. The enforcers exchanged glances. Then, with a grunt, the lead one tapped his wrist display. "Report filed. Expect another inspection within 48 hours." The moment the door closed, Jace exhaled. He turned and nearly collided with Lizara, who was now standing inches behind him. "Citizen Vero, report for Veltheri integration by 800. Non-compliance equals re-education." He crushed the empty beer can in his fist. 3 years since Earth lost the war, and the victor's idea of peace was forcing their people into human homes as cultural liaisons. Glorified spies, Jace thought. A chime at the door. He yanked it open and froze. She stood 7 feet tall, her iridescent blue skin shimmering under the hallway lights. 4 slender fingers gripped a hovering suitcase. Her eyes, solid gold, no pupils, locked onto him. "Greetings, human. I am Lizara, your assigned liaison." Her voice was like honey over gravel. Jace's throat went dry. The propaganda vids called Veltheri elegant. They didn't mention the way her translucent veins pulsed under her skin, or how her breath smelled like ozone and something sweet. "You're taller than the brochures showed," he managed. Lizara tilted her head. "You are smaller than projected. Your nutritional data suggests deficits." She stepped past him, her bare feet leaving faint glowing prints on the floor. Jace's hackles rose. "Hey, you can't just." She tapped a wristband. A hologram erupted. "Treaty Clause 14b. Veltheri liaisons have unrestricted domicile access for integration." "This is my damn apartment." Lizara's nostrils flared. "Your cortisol levels indicate distress. Should I summon compliance officers?" Jace clenched his jaw. The last guy who refused an alien roommate vanished into a harmonization facility. "Fine, but no rearranging my stuff." Lizara's lips twitched, almost a smile. "Noted." The unwelcome makeover. Jace woke to the sound of glass shattering. He bolted upright, just as Lizara levitated his coffee table into the wall. "What the hell?" Feng Shui is inefficient, she said, her bioluminescent tattoos flaring as she gestured. His couch flipped upside down. Veltheri spatial algorithms optimize energy flow. Jace grabbed her wrist and jerked back. Her skin was scalding. Are you sick? Lizara blinked. My core temperature fluctuates. Normal for my species. She leaned closer. Why does your pulse accelerate when I touch you? Jace retreated. Personal space. Look it up. Her golden eyes narrowed. Curious. Human males in your demographic typically exhibit attraction to Veltheri females. Jace's face burned. Yeah? Well, I'm not into girls who treat my home like a lab experiment. Lizara's glowing tattoos dimmed. Understood. The midnight intruder. Jace jerked awake at 3 a.m. Something was licking his neck. He flailed and hit warm, smooth flesh. Lizara loomed over his bed, her tongue forked like a serpent's. What the? Apologies, she said, not sounding sorry. Your sweat contains pheromones I must catalog. Jace scrambled back. Get out. Lizara's gills fluttered. A Veltheri sigh. Resistance is illogical. Our bonding is mandated. Bonding. This is occupation. Her gold eyes gleamed in the dark. Then why? She whispered. Do you shiver when I touch you? Jace's breath hitched. A siren wailed outside. Lizara's head snapped toward the window. Compliance sweep. She vanished into the shadows. Jace exhaled. What the hell am I getting into? What the hell was that? He hissed. Her skin had darkened further, veins glowing like liquid metal. My cycle has accelerated. Cycle? She swallowed hard. Mating season. Jace's stomach dropped. You're what? Lizara's voice dropped to a whisper. Veltheri females enter a hyperthermal state when ready to reproduce. Normally, it is controlled. But Earth's atmosphere, it triggers us. Stronger. Jace backed up until his legs hit the couch. And the government knows. Of course. Her golden eyes flickered with something like shame. That is why we are here. The pieces clicked. The cultural exchange. The forced pairings. The sudden disappearances of humans who resisted. They're using us, Jace said slowly. Like breeding stock. Lizara didn't deny it. A low hum filled the apartment. The sound of a hovercraft outside. Jace peeked through the blinds. 3 more enforcers stood on the street, scanning the building. We have to go, he said. Lizara's fingers brushed his arm, leaving a trail of heat. You would help me. Jace met her gaze. I'm not letting them turn humanity into a damn farm. She studied him for a long moment. Then, with a slow nod, she reached into her wrist device and ejected a tiny data chip. Then you need to see this. Jace held the data chip between his fingers, its surface glinting under the dim kitchen light. It was smaller than a fingernail, yet the weight of what it contained made his hands feel heavy. You stole this from them? He asked. Lizara's breathing was still uneven, her body radiating heat like a furnace. It was not meant to leave the Veltheri archives. Jace plugged the chip into his outdated neural interface, a relic from his brief stint in the Earth Defense Corps. The screen flickered to life, displaying a series of encrypted files. Biometric locks, he muttered. Can you open it? Lizara hesitated. Then, with a slow exhale, she pressed her thumb against the scanner. The files unfolded like a nightmare. Project. Genesis Hybrid. The screen filled with footage of humans in sterile white rooms, electrodes attached to their temples. Veltheri scientists in flowing silver robes monitored screens as pulses of light flickered through the subject's veins. Jace's stomach twisted. What the hell is this? Lizara's voice was hollow. The next stage of integration. The video cut to a new scene. A human woman convulsing on a table, her skin rippling with unnatural blue streaks. A Veltheri approached, placing a hand on her abdomen. The woman's screams turned into choked gasps as her body changed. Jace slammed the screen off. They're experimenting on people. Not just experimenting, Lizara corrected quietly. Accelerating. Normally, Veltheri reproduction requires years of genetic alignment. But your species, your DNA is unusually adaptable. A cold realization settled over Jace. That's why they lost the war. Lizara stiffened. You never needed to conquer us, he continued, the truth sharpening in his mind. You were dying out. And Earth was the only place with compatible hosts. For the first time, Lizara looked away. Outside, the hum of hover engines grew louder. Jace ejected the chip. We need to get this to the underground. Lizara's golden eyes narrowed. The human resistance. You know about them. I was trained to identify dissidents. Jace shoved the chip into his pocket. Then you know they're our only shot. Lizara caught his wrist before he could move. If we do this, there is no going back. The Veltheri will hunt us. Jace met her gaze. They already are. A sudden crash downstairs sent them both into motion. Jace grabbed a kitchen knife, pathetic against plasma weapons, but better than nothing, as Lizara's bioluminescence dimmed to near invisibility. The door exploded inward. 3 enforcers stormed in, rifles raised. Citizen Vero, the lead one, barked. You are in violation of Treaty Clause 9. Surrender the Veltheri subject immediately. Jace didn't think. He threw the knife. It clattered harmlessly off the enforcer's armor, but the distraction was enough. Lizara moved. One moment, she was beside him. The next, she was behind the enforcers, her fingers pressing into the base of their skulls. A pulse of violet light erupted from her touch, and the enforcers crumpled like puppets with cut strings. Jace stared. What did you? Temporary neural disruption. Lizara swayed, her glow flickering. We have minutes before reinforcements arrive. Jace grabbed her arm, pulling her toward the fire escape. Then we run. The sewers beneath Neo-Chicago reeked of rust and stagnant water. Jace's boots splashed through shallow runoff as he followed the flickering resistance markers, spray-painted arrows glowing faintly under UV light. Lizara moved silently behind him, her bioluminescence dimmed to avoid detection, but the heat radiating from her skin made the damp air shimmer. Are you sure this is the right way? Jace whispered. Lizara's golden eyes scanned the tunnel. The markings match the coordinates from your contact. A distant clang echoed through the pipes. Jace froze, hand drifting to the stolen enforcer pistol at his hip. The sound didn't repeat. They reached a rusted maintenance door marked with a faded biohazard symbol. Jace knocked 3 times, paused, then twice more. The door creaked open, revealing a gaunt man with cybernetic optics. Vero. Yeah. The man's mechanical eye whirred as it focused on Lizara. And you brought the Dan enemy with you. She's with me, Jace said, stepping between them. A tense silence stretched before the man grunted and stepped aside. Commander's waiting. Make it quick. The resistance bunker was a maze of repurposed shipping containers and jury-rigged tech. Dozens of faces turned as Jace and Lizara passed, some curious, most hostile. At the center of the room stood Commander Reel, a scar cutting through her dark eyebrow as she studied the data chip Jace handed her. She slotted it into a console. The footage of Project Genesis Hybrid played across the screen. The room erupted in curses. They're turning us into incubators, Ryle said, voice tight. We knew the Veltheri had an agenda. But this. Lizara's fingers twitched at her sides. The hybridization process was meant to be voluntary. Slower, but the High Synod grew impatient. Reel's gaze sharpened. And you, where do you stand? A bead of iridescent sweat traced Lizara's temple. I was designed for this purpose, but I do not wish to see your species enslaved. Jace noticed the way her pupils dilated as she spoke, the slight tremor in her hands. The mating cycle was progressing. Ryle leaned forward. Can you access their networks? Disable the tracking systems. Lizara hesitated. Yes, but it will alert them to my betrayal. Good. Rael tapped the console, pulling up a map of the city. We hit the main research facility tonight. While their systems are down, we destroy the gene banks. Chase's stomach dropped. That's suicide. The place is crawling with enforcers. Rael's smile was razor-thin. Not if our new ally reprograms their drones first. Lazara's breath hitched. Jace recognized the signs, her body temperature spiking again. "You're burning up," he muttered. She gripped the edge of the console, her nails leaving faint indents in the metal. "I can delay the effects a little longer." The resistance members began arming themselves, passing out plasma cutters and EMP grenades. Jace pulled Lazara aside. "You don't have to do this. We could run." Her hand closed around his wrist, searing hot. "There is nowhere left to run, Jace." The overhead lights flickered. A proximity alarm blared. Rael cursed. They found us. The first explosion rocked the bunker, sending dust cascading from the ceiling. Jace barely had time to grab Lazara before the far wall caved in, revealing a squad of enforcers in full combat armor. "Jace Vero," the lead enforcer's voice boomed through a vocal modulator. "Surrender the defective Veltheri specimen." Lazara stepped forward, her bioluminescence flaring violently. "I am no one's specimen." The enforcers raised their rifles, just as Lazara's tattoos blazed white-hot. A shockwave of energy pulsed from her body, short-circuiting their weapons. Jace didn't wait. He fired 3 shots into the lead enforcer's visor. "Move," Rael shouted, tossing him a grenade. As chaos erupted, Jace caught Lazara's arm. Her skin was nearly translucent now, veins glowing like molten gold. "Stay with me," he urged. Her fingers interlaced with his, burning and perfect. Always. The second explosion sealed their fate. The rebellion had begun. The research facility's alarms wailed as Jace and Lazara sprinted through the sterile white corridors. Behind them, the sounds of plasma fire and shouting marked the Resistance's desperate last stand. Lazara's breathing was ragged, her skin burning so hot that the air around her shimmered. Jace skidded to a halt at a security door. "This is it, the gene bank." Lazara pressed her palm against the biometric lock. The door hissed open, revealing rows of glowing incubation chambers. Inside each one floated a human Veltheri hybrid embryo, suspended in amber fluid. Jace's stomach twisted. "They've already started mass production." Lazara staggered, catching herself against a console. Her tattoos pulsed erratically. The cycle. Can't hold it back much longer. A voice crackled over the facility speakers. "Specimen Lazara 7, you are in violation of Directive 0. Surrender immediately." Jace raised his stolen rifle. Like hell. The door exploded inward. 6 armored enforcers stormed in, weapons trained. Behind them walked a tall Veltheri male in flowing silver robes, the scientist from the footage. "Fascinating," the scientist murmured, studying Lazara. "Your bond with this human has accelerated your metamorphosis beyond projections." Lazara bared her teeth. "I am not your experiment, Vaith." Vaith smiled. "No, you are something far more valuable, the first successful hybrid catalyst." He turned to Jace. "Do you know why your DNA is so compatible? Humanity evolved under chaotic conditions. Your genes adapt, violently." A gunshot rang out. Vaith's head snapped back. Rael stood in the doorway, smoke curling from her pistol. "Enough monologuing," she spat. Chaos erupted. Jace grabbed Lazara as enforcers opened fire. They dove behind an incubation chamber just as plasma bolts shattered the glass, fluid gushing across the floor. Lazara's body convulsed. "Jace, it's happening." Her skin split along glowing seams. Instead of blood, liquid light spilled out. Jace gripped her shoulders. "Fight it." "I'm not fighting." She gasped as wings of pure energy erupted from her back. "I'm becoming." The air vibrated. Every hybrid embryo in the room began glowing in sync with Lazara. Vaith screamed orders as the incubation tanks exploded one by one. Real's eyes widened. What the hell is she doing? Jace understood first. She's hijacking the genetic link, turning their weapon against them. Lizara rose into the air, her form shifting, radiant. The Enforcer's weapons melted in their hands. Vaith stumbled back as his own tattoos began burning against his will. You cannot control life. Lizara's voice echoed through the room. Only join it. A final pulse of energy lit the facility like a supernova. When Jace's vision cleared, the hybrids were gone, dissolved into harmless energy. The Enforcers lay unconscious. Vaith's tattoos had gone dark. Lizara collapsed into Jace's arms. Her wings faded, leaving her trembling but whole. Rael exhaled shakily. Did we just win? Outside, the sky burned dawn red. Across the city, reports flooded in, Veltheri collapsing as their artificial mating cycles reversed. The hybrids had been purged from the system. Lizara touched Jace's cheek, her fingers finally cool. The bond is stable now. No more cycles. No more control. Jace kissed her palm. Then let's build something new. As the sun rose over a changed world, the real work began. The end.